Hey there, I'm Shauna from the Yoga Center Winnipeg, and welcome to Yoga Snacks, nourishment for the body, mind, and spirit. Okay, for today's practice, we're going to spend a lot of time lying down. You will also need a belt and something for your head, maybe a blanket or a pillow. You could do the lying down on a couch if it's hard for you to get onto the floor. But let's start with just a quiet centering. So sit any way that's comfortable for you. Rest your hands on your lap and perhaps close your eyes. And just tune your attention inward and feel what your inner landscape is like on this day. Is there any physical pain or strong physical sensations? Is your mind busy, or are there strong emotions? Whatever you find, don't judge it. Just approach it with a little bit of curiosity and a whole lot of kindness. And whatever you can put aside for the next half an hour or so, make a commitment to put that aside and just be open to experiencing your body, your breath, and this moment. If you like, take a deep inhale, and then we'll sigh that out the mouth. And then let's do it again, but this time when you inhale, tense up a little bit. Tense your hands, make a face, and then and one more time. Inhaling, tightening, holding everything, and then a good sigh out the mouth. Fantastic. Okay, and then let's go right to lying down. So I've got a blanket here I'm sitting on. I'm going to use that for my head, and I've got my belt handy. Come to lie down on your back with your knees bent and your feet on the floor, and the knees and feet can be about hip width. You can take your belt, or maybe it's a tie or a bathrobe tie, and make it into a loop. Once you have your loop, you can put that over your knees so that it rests partly on your shins, partly on your thighs, and then you have your feet and knees wide enough apart that the legs rest into that belt. And then actually just sit here and do nothing. This pose is called the constructive rest pose because you are doing nothing, but it can be a very healing and resting pose for the body. So just sit here and open your awareness to notice a breath. Instead of actively trying to find your breath, let your breath find you. And just simply be here with the breath, aware of whatever you feel inside. So you might be feeling the heart beating, you might be feeling temperature, pressure, tingling. Then we're going to start to slowly move the head, and just turn your head slow from side to side. And bring your head back to center. And if you're resting here and it feels like your neck is tightening and your head is dropping back, a good idea would be to put a thicker pillow under your head. Otherwise, whatever you have is great. I'm going to take the arms up and reach up through your fingertips, open the palms, maybe even widen the space between the shoulder blades, and then hold your opposite elbow. And just begin to take your arms slowly from side to side. And you can let your head turn as you move. Bring your arms back to center and take the arms up and over your head towards the floor. If it doesn't go over your head, that's okay. They can also hover. And hold your elbows and let your legs rest into the support of the belt. Again, an opportunity to let the breath come to you. Feel the breath. Okay, then bring your arms back. Change the arm that's in front and repeat. So go to the side, to side. Next time the arms are back to center, this time instead of taking them over your head, make some circles with the arms. Go in one direction, a couple in the other. Nice. And then rest your arms for a moment and just feel what it feels like in the upper body. Okay, so we're going to take the belt off. And if you've got a belt like me with a buckle, you can loosen that or even take it right undone. You can put the folded belt around the right shin, hold the belt with your two hands, and let the leg rest into the belt. So it's like you're holding your leg up with your belt. Take some breaths. And then when you exhale, you start to bring the leg close. And then we'll relax back, put a little pressure of the leg into the belt. And then again, exhale, bring the leg close. Again, resist into the belt. And this time will be the last time. So you could still use your yoga belt or your whatever you're using, or you can clasp your hands around your shin, or even move your hands to the back of the thigh. And stay here like this, feeling, noticing. You can straighten this left leg. Let the left leg relax. Take a couple of breaths. And then turn your left foot so the toes point up and you stretch out through the heel. If this hurts your back, if this feels too intense, go back to having your knee bent. But as long as it feels okay, you're going to keep this leg long and strong. And now you can hold your right leg in your left hand, open your right arm out to the side, and roll to your left. This hip lifts all the way up and over. You might need to tuck your other hip under. And if your arm can stay on the floor, that's also nice. Palm can be open, and you can turn to look towards your right hand. Maybe smile towards your right hand. And then roll back onto your back. Put your right foot down. Bend your left knee. Just rest for a moment. You may need to adjust yourself on your mat. Maybe you moved a little. And then put the belt around your other shin. So that's the left shin. We're going to resist the leg into the shin. Then exhale, bring it towards you. Resist back into the belt. Exhale, bring towards you. Exhale back into the belt. Exhale this third time, bringing it in towards you. And again, clasp around the shin, continue to use the belt, or even put your hands behind your thigh. Keep the left knee hugging in towards you. And just bring your attention to your back body. Feel how it contacts the floor or doesn't. Notice where you experience your breath. And then straighten your right leg, if that's okay for you. And at first, the right leg is relaxed. Okay, then turn your right toes so the toes point up, press out through the heel. Keep your left leg hugged in a little. And then shifting, so now it's the right hand that holds the leg. The left arm can open out to the side. You can have a look at it if you want. And otherwise, you're going to take your right hand and bring your left leg up and over to the right. Let this left hip lift. Sometimes using your left hand to help, it's great. Sometimes tucking your right hip under a little helps. Take a few breaths here. Okay, and then roll back onto your back. Put your left foot down. Bend your right knee. Rest for a few breaths. Okay, this time we're going to take our belt and put it around the center of the foot. So the arch. Straighten your right leg and bring it down to the height of the left knee. You can hold the belt with both hands and kind of flex the foot. Stretch out through the heel. Keep your pelvis evenly balanced. Feel your breathing. And if it feels okay, now you take the leg up. A little bit vertical. Doesn't need to go all the way at all, and certainly you want to make sure that the pelvis stays balanced on the floor. You can walk your hands up the belt, hold with a light hug with your hands, and practice opening into the back of the knee. Okay, maybe spread the toes a little, smile at your foot. And then take the belt into your right hand, open your left knee out to the side, and then open your right leg out to the side. So have the pelvis balanced. You're reaching out through one heel, the one knee is open. If you have a support handy, you're welcome to put a support there if the leg is causing you to tip, but usually keeping the other leg open helps you stay balanced on your back. Spread the toes, press out through the heel so the leg is as straight as possible. And then inhale, bring this leg all the way up. Slip your right foot out of the belt. Put your right ankle onto your left thigh. Press your hands away from you for a moment, and as long as it feels okay in your body, you can bring the legs towards you now. And use your hands or the belt holding around the left leg, but bringing your right leg towards you. Take a few breaths. This area at the back of the hips, the place this most gets to is a little muscle called the piriformis, and that can get really tight on us. So this is a really helpful stretch. Put your left foot down to the floor and take your hands, maybe interlace them under your head, let your elbows open. Just like you're kind of lazing around, looking at the sky. And then we'll tip the knees over to the left. If you want, you can always put something under your left knee so that it doesn't go quite as deep. So I put a block there, a book would do, or a blanket. Then lift this leg up. Well, two legs, they're still in that position. Move your left foot a little bit to the left and start to tip your knees towards the right. If this feels too intense, again, you could take a block or something, put it under one of the legs. I like it under the right so that the pressure is not too much. You could also just take your foot off the leg and do this like so, a little bit gentler. And then using your inhale, bring both legs up. Put the right foot down, bring your left foot in. Rest for a moment. Okay, so we'll do this all on the other side. Take your belt, put it around the arch of your left foot, straighten your left leg to the height of the right. Arms are straight. You're using the arm strength a little bit here as you flex your left foot. Feel the balance of the pelvis on the floor, and then start to slowly take the leg towards you. Not important how high it comes, but it is important that you keep the feeling of the hips evenly resting to the mat. Open into the back of the right and left knee. If you want, you can straighten this right leg. You can keep it relaxed or a little bit more strengthening if you keep the toes pointing up. So it just depends what you need. And then once again, bend your right knee, tip your right leg open to the side, hold the belt into your left hand, and as you exhale, open your left knee to the left. Just holding this belt any way that makes sense for you, knees dropping. Lowering is a better word than dropping. Press out through your heel, keep this other leg quite active, and then take it up, bring the right leg up, slip your left foot out of the belt, rest your left ankle onto your right thigh, briefly press the legs away from you. That creates a little space in your hips, helps to balance the hips too. And then as you're ready, on an exhale, hug this leg in. This leg is the right leg. Left leg comes along for the ride. And then you can put the right foot down, take the hands behind the head, tip your legs, this time go to the right first. Left foot is on the floor if that works for you, and left knee points towards the ceiling. Feel where you notice your stretch. Feel your breath. And then inhale, take the legs back up, move the right foot over to the right side of the mat, tip the knees a little bit to the left. Modify as you need. Okay, and then bring this leg all the way up. Step the foot off. Place both feet on the floor. Take your arms out, and then we'll rock the knees from side to side. And here we go. So I said at the beginning that we would spend most of the class on our back, but I think we're going to spend the whole class on our back. So this time you take the blanket out, so your head's on the floor. And if you need to, if you have neck pain or your head is really pulling back, then maybe keeping the blanket there would be okay. We're going to try a little bit of lifting the hips with the hands. So press into your feet, lift the hips, and as you lift your hips, take your arms up and all the way over your head. From here, just lower your back, and the expression is to pretend it's a string of pearls, lowering one vertebrae at a time. Well, let's say a string of beads. Press into your feet, peel your spine off of the floor, lifting the hips up. And as you exhale, let's bring the arms down and lower the spine one vertebrae at a time. Let's try that again. Inhale, hips lift, arms lift. Keep the arms overhead. Exhale, slowly, slowly, slowly lower your back down. Let's do it again, lifting the hips, exhaling, taking the arms down, taking the hips down. And we'll do that full series one more time. So inhale, arms up and hips up. Exhale, hips all the way down. Press into the feet. Inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, lowering the arms. And this time, instead of lowering the hips, press into your elbows. Keep your hips so you're like a wedge. This is sometimes called the wedge pose, sometimes also called bridge pose. It's a good strengthener. And then lower, 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 lower your spine all the way to the floor. Put your 2 feet together. Let your knees open. Don't need to open very much, but for some people they might lower all the way to the floor. Let your lower back rest to the floor. Bring your hands under your head. Interlace your fingers if you like. Just take a few breaths. This pose is called Supta Baddha Konasana. Sometimes we do it with support. It's really nice, but it's a great pose for your back. It's also a great pose for your hips, digestion, all sorts of things. Very relaxing. Okay, one more breath. Okay, and then lift both knees up. Release your hands. And we're going to look around for a support. So you may need to come out. I just happen to have my 2 blocks handy, and I'm going to make them, stack them on top of one another. So you could use books if you don't have yoga blocks. Press into your feet, lift your hips. Sit your hips on the block so they feel comfortable and rested. Sometimes a little bit of stretch in the front of your hip flexors is nice, but it shouldn't feel like you're strained at all. Also, no pressure in the eyes, neck. My neck is comfortable and relaxed. So as long as all of that is good, you're good. And then we're going to walk the feet in a little bit. Pick up the right leg and stretch the right leg up towards the ceiling. Lift the foot up. See what that's like. And then put the right foot down. Pick up your left knee. Lift your left leg. Straighten it up. Press up as if you were still using the belt. And then put that foot down. Okay, so if you want to try an inversion, which it means we're going to take both legs up at the same time, you can. Lift your knees. Pick your feet up, straighten the legs. You can squeeze the legs towards one another. Lift up through the soles of the feet. Hips rest onto the block. My face is relaxed. My neck is clear. So it should feel really comfortable and quite easy, sometimes a little tight in here. Otherwise, if you have pressure in your head, having trouble breathing, it feels frightening, just keep your feet on the floor instead of taking the legs up. If you're here, it's great to stay here for a couple of breaths at least. Just reversing the circulation, turning things upside down. Okay. To come down, bend your knees. Maybe you're going to take the feet down one at a time or together. Lift your hips just enough to take your block or blocks out. Lower your back slowly, slowly, slowly to the floor. Put something under your head. I'm going to use my block. And then for a few breaths, hug your knees in. And then exhale, put your feet down, stretch your legs out one by one. Let your feet be relaxed, let your arms relax open, and just allow your entire body to rest. So again, turn your attention inward, feeling the sensations, opening your awareness and allowing the breath to come to you. Nothing else to do. As always, if you have the time and the inclination, you may want to stay here, staying in this resting pose, Shavasana, for as long as you like. If it's time for you to finish your practice, you can come up with me though. We'll start by circling the wrists, fingers, the toes, wiggle, wiggle, bending the knees and rolling carefully to the side. Coming up is a helpful thing. We've been on our back for a long time, so when you're coming up, use your arm strength, use your inhale to help you sit up. Whether you're ending with me now or sometime later, always taking a moment just to acknowledge the practice time. Just thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.